flooding rains and wind from Hurricane Lili.
Lili has since been downgraded to a tropical storm, but there is still a very dangerous situation.
And I'm Jeff Morrow in New Iberia, Louisiana. Well, Lili may be winding down, but it's left a legacy of damage here in South Central Louisiana. I'll have a live report in just a moment.
Jeff, extensive damage to trees and power lines, and that's exactly why the utility crews are getting out now. A break in the weather here. Great news if you're one of those that lost power. We'll give you a live report coming up.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Weather Center. I'm Lisa Moser.
And I'm Kristen Dodd. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, Lisa, Lili has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. That's definitely some good news.
Yeah, and as you know, it made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane very early this morning around 9 a.m. in the western edge of Vermilion Bay, Louisiana. And as we said, Lili is the first hurricane to make landfall in the United States since Hurricane Irene. Remember back then in 1999?
It's been a long time. I was surprised to actually hear that. But here's a look at Tropical Storm Lili as of now, with maximum sustained winds at 70 miles an hour, but continuing to weaken as it moves to the north. No longer have any hurricane warnings in effect. Tropical storm warnings are in effect in all the areas in yellow, meaning some very strong winds pulling through the region. Here's a look at the latest radar, and I want to read to you a few of the warnings that we do have. Tornado warning in eastern Rankin County and central Mississippi. We also have a tornado warning in Smith County and central Mississippi. Clark County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Western Scott County under a tornado warning in central Mississippi. And Rapides Parish also now under a tornado warning.
Now, even before Lili came ashore this morning, at least 127,000 residents of southeast Louisiana were without power. Strong high wind ripped down power lines. New Orleans Airport remained open, but flights may not resume until later today. And federal and state authorities have set up a mobilization center in central Louisiana. It holds power generators, water, and food for search and rescue support teams.
And the Weather Channel has several crews in Louisiana this afternoon to cover Lili's impact. Our Jim Cantori is in Lafayette, Louisiana, and Jeff Morrow joins us from New Iberia. Jim, let's start with you. What's the latest there?
Well, Kristen, winds have shifted around to the south-southwest now. Still gusty, still tropical storm force, and that's going to mean some problems, because think about it. When you got a loose tooth, you push it one way, you push it the other, and eventually you get that thing out. That's the same thing with some of the trees around here. They've been loosened by the rain. They were loosened by the easterly winds earlier. Now winds coming around to the south-southwest. That's going to loosen them even more. So there still is that danger of trees coming down on power lines. So please keep that in mind if you're heading out tonight. Some good news, a break in the weather here. One of the big issues with the utility crews is, hey, we've got to get that wind below 50 miles an hour. Once we do that, we are out of here. And we are going to make our way to the damage, and we are going to get this power up as soon as we can. The pecking order is as follows: airport, hospitals, homes and businesses. That's how things are going to be done, and they want everyone to hold off in the hotels and the shelters till tomorrow afternoon. Now, unfortunately, you know, it's a little bit tough to say that, because we have a lot of vehicles on the roads right now, a lot of people out sightseeing and whatnot. One person who was out, I was listening to the radio, actually had to deal with a wire that came down from a power line wrapped in his or her car. Not a good thing, especially if that was a live wire. Be careful out there, folks. There's a lot of extensive damage to trees and power lines. We had about 4 or 5 inches of rain. You can see the puddles that we've got left over here in the parking lot. Some of these cars earlier, halfway up the door with the rainfall. And, of course, as the cars go through, you can see the sloshing of the water, which continues. Not too bad here from what we can see the hotel. There has been reports of a tree down off to our off on the other side of the parking lot on top of a car. But other than that, I think we fared pretty well here. Power is out, and it looks like it's going to stay that way at least through the night tonight. So a dark night for those without flashlights. It was just as bad, if not worse, down in Iberia. Let's take a ride south with Jeff Morrow and get a live report. Jeff?
Yeah, Jim, not that far south from where you are in Lafayette here in New Iberia. It was a mess here about, I'd say between 9:30 and about 11 o'clock this morning. I mean, the wind was howling, winds over 90 miles an hour, driving rain, and things started to break and snap, not just the trees, but a lot of other things too. We're going to take you on a little bit of a walking tour here. Some of the debris actually you can see way over there by those trees. That's actually a piece of a sign that came off. And you can see the Chevron sign, I think, in the background there. There used to be a Holiday Inn sign right off to the left of that, a big tall one. That's no longer there. We're not quite sure what happened to that. As we pan back this way, there's a piece of an awning on the road behind me here. That almost hit me this morning when it came off the roof a little bit earlier. Fortunately, I was able to duck out of the way. And as we come over here, I'll show you what does happen to some of these signs in a 90-mile-an-hour plus wind as we pan up. Again, there's not much left. That was for a hotel as well, but that one's going to have to be replaced, and lots of those pieces were flying off as well. So we spent the early part of the day dodging a lot of missiles out here, but as Jim was mentioning, we're getting a break now. The winds are slowly dying down, and at least for the time being, it has stopped raining. Kristen, Lisa?
Jeff, we're so glad that you guys have survived the worst of Lili. Lili is still causing some problems, though. We go to the Lafayette local radar. Things have improved greatly for Lafayette. However, for Alexandria, the last hour has been very bad in your area. We're looking at sustained wind at 50 miles per hour. There is also a tornado in the area. It's moving to the north in Alexandria at about 20 miles per hour. So a lot of damage and debris with heavy rainfall. And, of course, some of those winds gusting could be higher than that 50-mile-per-hour wind. And also, Kristen, I want to mention that out towards the southern area of Mississippi, things are pretty bad with a lot of thunderstorms in that area.
That's right. Those two producing tornadoes, and we'll continue to monitor that for you.